And welcome back to the Dee Armstrong Show, day one. This is the premiere. We're having so much fun, and it's going to get even better in this segment because standing by are two ladies you know in so many different ways. You have Vanessa Williams, singer, actress, and so many things that are on her resume. She's going to be joining us, and Lisa Kudrow, who is an actress and a Hollywood executive producer now of the show Who Do You Think You Are? Ladies, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Before we get started, you know, Columbus is sort of a small, big town. Can you please say hello to Columbus, Georgia and Auburn, Alabama?
Hey, Columbus, Georgia and Auburn, Alabama.
Okay, because we are the
Hi,
SEC
Columbus,
champs.
Georgia and Auburn, Alabama.
You know what?
Hi.
That is necessary, okay, in this town where we still say hey and how y'all doing. Well, thank you so much for being with us. The question, where did the concept of this show come from? It's something I bet a lot of people thought about, but you did it, huh?
Well, I didn't do it. I wish I did. But it's a show that's been on in England for about 8 seasons. It's a BBC show. So, you know, the guy who created it invited me to, and my partner, to produce it with him over here.
And what is the goal of this? Is this because so many people want to know who their family members are, but now you're doing it. Is the goal to spread information, to bring families together, or?
Well, it's any of it. I mean, the goal is really to spread information and make us all see that we have very personal ties to history that we never thought existed. And also for us to see what our ancestors endured that makes it even possible for us to be here.
And endure is something I heard a little bit. I'll tell you, I was sneaking and listening to some of the interview that Vanessa Williams was conducting before she came to us. What a background. Were you surprised to learn much of what you did?
Well, it was such a treat because especially as an African American, there's so much history that we don't know due to slavery, due to records that weren't kept, and to be able to go through 2 of my great-great-grandfather's stories, one from New York and one from the South, and talk about the Civil War and go into the history of how the colored troops and Company 26 went to the Battle of Bloody Bridge in Beaufort, South Carolina, on Johns Island, and talk about how they had to prove themselves as soldiers and as black men, and then flip to my other great-great-grandfather, who's one of 14 men of color who served in the Tennessee State Legislature back in the 1865, when I didn't even realize that there were black people that were representatives post-Civil War. So it was an amazing history lesson. It was an honor to be able to bring all this information back to my family, my children, and also get a slice of who I'm from and where I'm, you know, my background was. It was fascinating.
Now, about children, Vanessa, do you think that this information that you have is important in shaping children's lives? That's what I think when I hear this. So many of our kids are confused because they have no idea of where they come from.
Absolutely. Besides kicking off Black History Month with this, we had no idea, but it actually is a perfect episode to kick it off. It's like walking, even if you didn't know me and you didn't care about me, going through this journey on my episode talks about the Civil War, talks about the fact that as a black soldier coming, as a Union soldier fighting in the South, if he were captured, not only would he be able to be killed, but he would be put in slavery. So the risks that a man who was born free in the North to fight for his country, to be able to make other slaves become free and have the same freedoms that he was born into, was an amazing story of courage. And the fact that the other side, which was a man who was born a slave, was educated by his slave masters, became a school teacher, a principal, and then ended up getting elected to serve as as part of a representative in Shelby County to go to the state capitol and try to enact laws was extraordinary. So you get a chance to look at black history, for sure, in my episode, and to see where we've come from 1842.
Mm-hmm. It's very encouraging. And Lisa, you're making history right now. You've gone from Friends, comedy, to now becoming an executive producer. What is that like?
Well, you know, producing this show is very fulfilling because I think it's really informative, so I'm just really proud to be part of it. It's great storytelling, and you're also giving people information that they didn't have before. We're personalizing history, and I think that makes it very impactful.
Mm-hmm. And it's such a different genre. On Friends, you made us all laugh, but here it's more emotional and even brings us to tears. Was that an adjustment for you?
Well, I mean, I had been producing things, but you know, you may not have seen them. You know, not everything was so successful. But
that's life.
But you know, so no, that wasn't. But you know, when you're passionate about something, it doesn't matter. It fuels itself. You know.
Tell us about the team. Who's out there getting this information, bringing it together so that you can put it on video for us?
Well, we're partners with Ancestry.com, so that they are an invaluable resource. We also have a team of researchers who are really paying attention to the names, dates, and places, and from there, once you know that, you can start figuring out what was happening historically, you know, in Oyster Bay, New York, in 1861 or before that, you know. And then you go to experts in the various fields. There's an expert for everything, especially with the Civil War. I think every battle has an expert. So, no, there are books written, and there are definitely resources out there for everybody.
Now, I imagine some people have boring histories and some people have exciting histories. How do you determine which stars you're going to feature?
Well, we need histories that can be documented.
Okay.
So if, you know, the documents aren't available and we can't substantiate what we're saying, then we better not say it.
Okay. Do you run into that very often? I know that in the South, here in the South, there are a lot of people don't have their birth certificates. They don't even know sometimes their true name, or when they were born, it's just not documented.
Right, yes. And, you know, I think Vanessa was saying earlier, you know, the miracle of her story is that, you know, with African American history, you go back, that wall of slavery really prevents you from finding out anything. So, you know, for Vanessa, it really was almost a miracle that, well, not miracle, it's just really lucky.
And a lot of
fantastic that she had such accomplished ancestors.
Right, and then we actually have images of them too. That was the the icing on the cake is that I have photos of both great-great-grandfathers.
Awesome.
My great-great-grandfather David Carls in his Union Civil War uniform with the American flag draped across his knee, which was amazing, breathtaking. And the other one is of William A. Fields, part of the Tennessee legislature, and you've got all the men that served, and he's got his own little oval. It's amazing.
It is, and I can't wait to see it. Who Do You Think You Are? NBC tomorrow at 8 p.m. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us, and I'm going to be glued to the set. They are helping to launch the Dee Armstrong Show, and thank you so much for being with us. We'll be back right after the break.